Hello and welcome. Hello again. This is Eric Rozenberg. I'm very happy and grateful to be here with you today for this session. I never know when to start because they say 3, 2, 1, you think you're live, and then suddenly a few seconds later, saying it's live. But now I know I am. Once again, I'm Eric Rozenberg. Nice to see you or not to see you again. What I do is I've been very much involved in the meetings and events and ticketing industry for the last 20 something years. I've worked in about 50 countries all over the world. The accent that you hear is originally from Belgium. I'm now a US citizen living in South Florida. Well, if you want to know more about me, you can go on LinkedIn. This is not a session to talk about who I am and what I do, but to answer the question I've received from Sean and the team. So without further ado, let's dig into the first one, which is submitted by Kimberly Vincent, or Kimberly Vincent, as I would say in my native country. Question is, what policy or process would you recommend I implement into the contract agreement between my business, Serene Workforce, and our associate massage therapy clinics? In the event the staff of the associate clinic are not providing satisfactory treatments to the employee we send them. As I do a SWAT analysis, this situation could be a possible threat that I would like to create a solution to. Thanks, Kimberly. So Kimberly, first of all, good on you to do a SWOT analysis. I think everybody should do that. Look at your strong point, weak point, your opportunities and threats on your business, but also on yourself and the people in the team. So to answer your question in terms of the policy and the contract, I just want to share with everyone the business background that you have shared with us. You're having a contract created between your company, Serene Workforce, and your associate clinics. And you'll be referring employees of the companies who purchase a massage program to associate clinics for the treatment. They want to be sure the experience they receive is consistent and the massage therapists are maintaining our core value of our business. When they are treating the clients we send them, thanks so much. I always appreciate your insight. So if the goal is to maintain the quality of the delivery of the massage and to be in the standard and the values and align with your company, I'm not saying you should not have a contract. Obviously, you have to have one and also foresee the penalties and everything. But I don't believe that contract will enforce what is here customer service. So I think that what is really important is that you have a way of sitting down with the people that you're sending your employees to, or at least the owner of those companies or different associate, and define the process and define what you're expecting and provide feedback and be very transparent. I think that from the moment that the people you are sending your employees to, as well as your employees, that everybody knows what is expected from everyone, that there's a feedback loop afterwards, that every comment is taken seriously and addressed and communicated. That's on the long term for me the best way that you will have to secure the alignment with your values and making sure that there is no issue. Once again, you have a contract, great. You need to have a contract and obviously put into the contract what would happen if they don't deliver or what they should. But at the end of the day, what you want is that the employees have a great experience. And that to me is, again, going back to the people, going back to the process and the customer journey. It's a question of defining exactly what you want, communicating that, and explaining what it means. And every time you cannot foresee everything. So you're always going to have something new, a new issue. The bottom line is to make sure that you build this database, you build this playbook. I think is the best way to explain it, where there's a new issue. Okay, this is how it's been resolved. In the future, if that occurs again, this is what we expect to have as an answer, as a compensation, whatever it is. But it's very important to focus on the people that are delivering and making sure that they understand the type of experience you are expecting to provide and why you're sending them the business. And that's again, it's like you're taking let's say you're flying always with the same airline. One day you might have a bad experience because that one day the flight attendant has been in a bad mood or whatever happened. Does that mean that all the flight attendants, or does that mean that the entire company is bad? Of course not. Does it reflect on the image of the company? Of course, yes. So that's where you need to have your standard, have the feedback loop, and communicate ongoing basis. You're not gonna have, I don't believe that you're gonna have any one solution once and for all that you explain and you don't have to worry about it. So it's a really an ongoing process. Hope it helps, Kimberly. But really the process again for me is in terms of the customer journey, identifying the different touch point, what needs to happen, what are the different objections, and how to answer them. Yeah, and that if you want a book to read and learn more about that, I strongly recommend the book from Joey Coleman called Never Lose a Customer Again. Describe what to be done in the first 100 days when you onboard a customer, but also afterwards in the process. So that's what I have for you today. Okay, the next question is sent by Yolindi de Gouveia. Sorry, I hope I am pronouncing your name well. The question is, I feel like I need to stop, go back and restart with the basics. I had already started my business when I joined AO, and I don't have the basic foundation and processes down. Where do you recommend I start? I need a clear vision and roadmap and projections on where I'm going and how to get there. And the background is that you're manufacturing decorative throw pillows and pillow insert. The potential for growth is huge. You currently do around 15K a month, but you need to at least double and triple that. You cannot scale haphazardly. See, I'm learning English every time. This needs to be very calculated and planned, and it's a mother-daughter team that you're working with. So first and foremost, what you are experiencing is what any entrepreneur experiences. It's a roller coaster, and sometimes you feel like a lot of things need to be improved and you want to work on different things. And that's always what I said, everyone I coach, make a list of all the things you want to be doing and then take the priorities. And you cannot have 5 important things that need to happen at the same time. And if you are letting yourself overwhelmed by the list of your priorities, that is not going to help. So first, make a list of all the things you think that should be improved. Second, define the priorities and what you're going to be working on. Read the material, look on YouTube. There's a lot of video on any matters that you need to learn. But most importantly, I would say it's the accountability, is doing the thing. Everything you're describing here, Yolindi, it's a lot. It's like a mountain, and you're not climbing a mountain in one day, and you're not climbing a mountain on your own. So on the second part of on your own part, I strongly recommend that whether you have a coach, but at least that you have an accountability buddy. It can be your daughter, it can be a friend, where basically every week at the same time you meet and you define the 3 main priorities of the week that you're going to be working on. And if you say, I need to revise my marketing campaign, it's not enough to say, I've done it. You have to show it. So it's making you progress. Another book that I would like to recommend to you is the E-Myth from Michael Gerber, telling the story of a shop owner, and she's a baker, if I remember well, the story, but basically is going through all the different aspects of building this business. So you will have different area for your business. You're looking at your vision, you're looking at your sales, you're looking at your marketing, you're looking at your, the team, the delivery, the production, the finances. You're building an action plan, an accountability with the action plan, and most importantly, which is unfortunately too often forgotten, you need to think about yourself, about your mental health, about your motivation. So those are the different areas you need to cover. But what I would start, the very first thing, because obviously we can talk for hours just on your question, which is very important but vast as well. The very first thing that I would do, especially if you're a mother-daughter business, I would do it separately. The mother and the daughter separately write down why you started this business, where you see the potential of the business, and where you see yourself and the company in the next 10 years. And if it's too hard to do it for the next 10 years, you do it at least to the next 5 years. And you write this down on your own. And you might say, this is where I see my company, what we would be doing, the number of markets we will be attacking, how many we will be selling online, how many people will help us, whatever it is, you define as much as possible. And then you bring the two of you together and you look at what the other has defined. The reason is that is going to force you to align yourself, mother-daughter, for one, and for two is going to define a vision of what you want to be doing together in the future. From that vision, a lot of the decision that will be, all the decision will be based on, but a lot of those decisions will be easier to take, knowing where you want to go. Does it fit the vision that you define? Yes. So you put it on the things that you're going to do in the future before prioritizing it. Does it fit? It doesn't fit the vision? You're not doing it. And that would be difficult because it's always tempting when you see a potential. But that's also another very important point, is to be able to say no, to decide on your priorities, and to basically go one thing at the time. So I would start with the vision of the mother and start the vision of the daughter, bring it together. How do you see the company growing? And then you'll go into, okay, this is the list of all the things we want to be doing and what is the most important of all of it. And you can rate it. The two of them can have a basket, if you want, of 5 points to allocate to all the list of priorities. You can put all the 5 points on one, or you can put one here, two there. You find a way of balancing those priorities, and then you tackle one after the other. Once again, most important thing, don't be, you're going to be overwhelmed, so don't be afraid of that, and be totally conscious about the factor of being overwhelmed. It's normal. Don't freeze, don't overthink it, and tackle one thing after the other, and have this accountability for each of you, that every week, the 3 main things that you're going to work on, that you're actually working on it. Hope it helps. Sounds very exciting, and look forward to hearing about your progress. The next question is from Sean Drumgo. Question is, what are proven and recommended ways to launch an online service and obtain subscribers? The background is, this is a resend from Ask a Millionaire. I've developed an online service called Master Estimate, based on a tool I created for managing the budget of my real estate projects. I've held a beta test period, and now I'm ready to announce the official launch of the service. Master Estimates provide a framework for estimates that combines scope of work deliverable with a draw schedule of progress payment and completion points. This enables real estate investors, lenders, contractors, landscapers to know the numbers at project start and monitor the numbers to project. I plan to initially target real estate investors. As I get subscriber, I'll enhance the service and target other users groups. So before I go into your question about recommended ways to launch an online service and obtain subscriber, I think that something very important that you said here. You plan to initially target real estate investors. Great. My point is, define the profile of the people that you want to be targeting. Who are your preferred customer, your ideal customer that you're going to go after? And it might be tempting to go to 10 different type of customers. Start with one and go deep into one, understand, have this feedback loop with them. What do they like using? Why do they pick your solution? What is it that they are looking at achieving for them? And sometimes you might even discover that what you think they're using it, actually there's an underlying motivation which is even bigger than just the tactics or the tools of using your product, and always make sure that you understand what they're trying to do. So if it's something you want to develop that is not fitting into their needs, don't put it in your investment or in your roadmap, but really focus on what is it that your ideal customer is doing with your solution and what they are trying to achieve, why they're using you. So going back to proven and recommended ways to launch an online service and obtain subscriber, you need to focus on some people that you can ask questions to, that you can basically your beta group, that they're going to help you refine the product and the service, refine the pricing, refine all the things that, and understand that you're not going to come up on day one with a perfect program with no bugs and nothing. But in the meantime, they will be able to use that. So I would look into your own network, a group of 20 people that you know that maybe you've done business with, and that would definitely fit into your category of ideal customer. Reach out to them, ask them if they would be willing to use your solution for free, and with two exchange value if you want. They can use it for free for a certain time, and then you can give them a preferred rate. But they need to give you feedback on everything that is not working or any ideas that they have to better the solution. Two, they need to accept to be a reference to you and give you a testimonial that you will be able to use when you officially launch your model, your product or service. Sorry. Obviously, here you're in a SaaS environment, which is wonderful. I would focus on one, what is the need and why do people using the solution? Two, what are the KPIs you want to be using? So traditionally in this type of business, people will measure the annual recurring revenue, ARR, which is great, but I strongly suggest that you are looking at that, but you're looking at that maybe on a weekly, if not daily basis, so that you can see the trends, you can see what's going on, you can monitor that, and look at what other KPIs, so key performance indicators, you would want to look at to have a very immediate and concrete idea on how your business is growing. Look at the number of people maybe going on the website, and the number of people that are asking for a demo, or the number of people that start filling in the card, or the number of people that actually signing up after having seen a demo. And then you would test as well different type of demos, different approach to the customer, to always refine what is the best, what is working the most for you. So that's really the basic in the beginning. I would also put in place a feedback loop between the sales and the developer. You're gonna have always an interesting conversation between the two, but the salespeople are really those that are on the field, that understand the client needs, that hear from the customer, that hear the feedback, that hear as well what are other solutions they're using and why, so that you can then bring that back internally and have a discussion with the development team about what are the features that are a priority to be developed, how long it's going to take, the cost you're going to have, and really zoom in on how much it costs you every time you need to develop a new feature and what is really needed from the customer. So the more you are up to date with that, the better you will be able to manage your cost and fit as close as possible with the need of the customer. And then I would go as deep as possible is one of the type of the customer you decide to tackle before trying to reach out to other vertical. It will be tempting. You will have people asking you for that. The more you focus on the niche, the better you will be on that niche, the stronger you will be, the more business you'll get on that niche before deciding to tackle a second niche, even if you think that you can do with the same solution other vertical. Great, focus on one and go deep in that one. Well, I hope it helps, Sean. Sounds very exciting, and we look forward to hearing about your progress as well. The next question is coming from Matthew Phipps. And the question that Matthew's asking is, how do you approach a business partner when your responsibilities have become more than the original agreement for a percentage in the company? Very interesting question. Background is our company sells a bike product that creates sparks when you bike. I was invited to start this business and led the product development for a 12% stake in the company. Now my business partner has me doing website design, graphic design, sales portal, customer support, and shipping along with designing our next round of product. Okay? How do I approach a conversation that this was not in the original agreement on my responsibilities for 12% of the business, and what is an appropriate compensation to ask for? Or is it best to be happy with my percentage and do everything I can to make this business a success? Very, very, very interesting question. First thing I want you to do is to buy a book called The Psychology of Money from Morgan Housel. The Psychology of Money is a fabulous book with a lot of true stories that the author is sharing and reflection. So it's a philosophical book, but it's also obviously focused on money and business. And one of the chapter is actually about how much is enough. So to your question, am I better off to be happy with my percentage and do everything I can to make this business a success? It's telling the story of a person coming from a very, very unprivileged background and made it to #1 of the largest consulting company in the world. And he was worth $100 million. And this was not enough. He wanted to be a billionaire. And he went into insider trading, went to jail, and it was a disaster. So how much is enough? Are you happy with the 12%? Is it basically helping you achieve the goals in your life? That's the first thing. The second thing is, and I cannot tell you what to do because it's very personal. I can only share my experience with you and tell you how I look at it. In such a partnership, when you have two people and that one of the two feels that there's a major imbalance, it's not a recipe for success on the long term. So I think that's important that you define if you think it's fair or not. If you're looking at how many percent you think would be fair. Maybe your business partner is actually the one who brought the idea. Maybe he's the one who putting all the money on the table. Maybe I don't know. I don't know the background. But the bottom line is, if you have any frustration, first think for yourself. What would make this frustration go away? Would it be fair? And what would you like to ask? So you need to be very focused on yourself at that moment and very secure and very convinced about what it is that you would want to have. Then the next step is to have this difficult conversation face to face. This type of conversation should never, ever, ever take place otherwise than face to face. Any type of conversation, tough conversation, should actually take place face to face. I know in this day and age, it's not easy with the pandemic and everything, but at least getting on Zoom. But I would say for that type of conversation, just wait to be face to face. Prepare that, have all the data, and start with questions, no complaints. Instead of saying, I was hired to do this, now I'm doing that and that and that, and I only have 12%. Try the question way. Do you agree that at the beginning, that's what we said I would do and you would do? do you believe that this is what's happening now? I'm more than happy to do everything that we mentioned that you want me to do now. Do you think it's fair? This way, it's less confrontational. You're making your point very clear, and you know where you're going with that. But that's how I would go about this discussion. Think about yourself if you're happy with that or not, and what you would need to be happy. Do you think it's fair? What are the rationale behind it? The data document that. Try to get some comparison. You can always look at similar business or other people that you would know, that you read about, and how they structure the deal. And at the end of the day, listen, 12% of a business which is worth $1 million, or 12% of a business which is worth 50 million, it's a big difference. What I can tell you is that in the VC world in general, if the private equity or the venture capital company are actually hiring a CEO, they will give that person between 3 and maximum 5-6% in general of stock option that would vest it, so that it will not be possible for that person to have them immediately. It will be over the course of a certain number of years to make sure that that person is staying. So you're the only one, I'm afraid, to know if those 12% are fair based on what was decided in the beginning. And by the way, if you think you're doing much more work for the company, you can either ask for more equity, or you can ask for more percentage of the revenue, or you can ask for a higher salary. There's always different ways of looking at it. Okay, that's what I get for you, Matthew. Looking forward to hearing how your conversation will go. Next question is from Bob Gigere. And Bob is asking, how should I approach price point testing when my primary pricing consideration, customer acquisition cost, is unknown? That's an interesting question. Good question, Bob. In the spring, I test my SAT prep software at a $249 price point and did not generate any sales. During testing, I uncover a similar product that is free. I do believe I have valuable differentiators for this product, and I want to test the market at a lower price point, around $30, $50. Okay, so there's several points here. First of all, you say you had 0 sales. Did you speak with some people? Did you have people looking at the solution? I would suspect yes, and I would definitely go back to those people and ask. Don't assume anything. Just ask them, why didn't you buy? And if they tell you, oh, because there's this, don't put that in their mouth. But if they tell you this because they know about the other solution, which is free, then you have 2 subset of questions. The first one is it this a free solution? Is it providing you with what you expect? And second, do you understand the differentiator? I would not ask if you understand, but I would definitely focus on the differentiator you're mentioning, to try to understand if they perceived it. Because at the end of the day, if you believe that you have a differentiator, but your prospect doesn't understand it or doesn't feel it, I'm sorry, but the customer is right. And in that case, you have 2 solutions. Or you do have a differentiator, but you need to communicate in a different way. Or B, you believe you have a differentiator, but you don't have one, or at least one big enough for that person to make the switch or be happy to pay for something. I do believe that going for the free solution might be something that some part of the customer will look, and there's always another part which like to pay for the service, to pay for having somebody available to answer the question, to pay for having somebody making them accountable. People are, why are they buying a solution to prepare for the SAT? For the results. So if you're going back to what you have and you say that differentiator, at the end of the day, are those differentiators allowing the people taking a solution to have a better SAT score? That's the only thing that would count in that case. And if this is the case, then take a sample group, help them succeed, even for free, at the SAT, and in exchange that they will provide you with testimonials, and obviously start building the data and proving the point that with your solution, people will have consistently better results. Now, if you don't know your customer acquisition cost, the first thing I would say, look at it. Define how you're going to measure it. The time you spend and how much are you paid, or the time that somebody else spend and what is their salary. The time it takes to develop the solution, to improve the solution. How are you organizing the entire development or improvement of the project based on the feedback, and how much does it cost you? So you should have at least an idea of your development cost. You should have an idea of all your cost structure, and then you should have a very easy way of calculating your break-even point, which is if you have $50,000 of cost per year and you're selling the solution at $1,000, you need to have 50 sales. And obviously then you're looking at the competition, what you're providing and everything. But if you're looking at $30, $50 price point, I would believe that at that low price, there is no human interaction. It's only through the computer. You can upsell maybe with additional value if they want to talk to somebody. But then again, come back to what is the expectation from people buying such a software. It's to succeed the SAT with the highest score possible, and start from a small group of people that you're going to help, so that you can build that reference. I think it's extremely important to get the testimonials. I think it's really important to look at least 3 years of runway to make sure that you can get those testimonials, you can use them in your prospection, and you can start looking at those results and having those results. And then you can look at the different pricing from, are people interacting with a human being or not? Obviously, the result that you're getting. Listen, if somebody is preparing for SAT, and if they have a solution for free, and they have a solution for which they pay, which consistently providing them with 20% higher score, guess what? That would be your best marketing. There's definitely a lot of needs over there. I would really, before defining the pricing, I would really go back to the people that have looked at your solution and didn't buy, and also look at people that have actually bought another solution. Why did they buy it? What did they use it if you say it's free? I'm sure there's additional elements that they needed to pay for. And were they happy? What would they change? What were their experience? What were the results? Did they know about other solution? What is their motivation to use that solution rather than another? And based on that, then you will define your pricing. Okay? Good luck, Bob. Moving now to the next question from Carrington Crotters. Is narrowing the scope of industry I service or market to a benefit or detriment? I alluded to that in a previous question today. And what Carrington is saying is that I am a commercial brand photographer servicing product-based businesses to create e-commerce, marketing, and brand-specific photography. When it comes to brand and type of product, the options are endless. I mainly shoot footwear, beverage, skincare, and jewelry. Is narrowing the scope of work I produce a good decision, or is keeping option open with a main focus better? Excuse me. Focus, 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 focus. From the moment that you are providing those type of services, what if you become the photographer for product, an e-commerce product in footwear or in jewelry, whatever it is. If you look at your customer base right now, where do you have the most customer? Where do you have the customer that are providing you with the greatest revenue? And where are the customer you enjoy the most working with? It's very important. Then you look at the industry. And then you decide which one you want first to be focusing on, so that you know that you have referrals, testimonials. That is a very interesting vertical for you that are ready to pay for picture. The best is to show website that had previous picture, and when you came in with the picture you shoot, what was the increase in sales, providing that the rest remains the same, of course. And obviously you have your highest revenue. And also, very importantly, where and who are the customer you enjoy the most working with. Based on that, I would pick one vertical. I'm not saying you should not be still servicing the others, but focus all your marketing effort, all your prospection, all your networking in one niche that you decide to attack. And you're going to do that for several months. Then you're going to look if there's an opportunity in the future, fine, but focus on this one. You want to be the person who's known for doing this type of photography for e-commerce website, and specialize in a very specific niche to explain and demonstrate and give the data that before those were the sales, and with your picture, this was the increase. It's the best marketing way for you. Okay, Carrington. Hope it helps. And another question from Carrington and Carruthers as well. Is it beneficial to engage with company prospect on social media organically before reaching out to them directly? Again, is it beneficial to engage with companies and prospect on social media organically before reaching out to them directly? So, sorry, that brings the question. It's a very good question, Carrington. I think it will help interest a lot of people as well. Who would not be interested to know what is the best way to approach the prospect? In this day and age, I don't believe there is any cold call anymore. You can find information on the prospect through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, definitely LinkedIn, searching the web, looking at where they're working. Do you know anybody there? Getting a personal introduction. So engage, to your question, engaging organically before reaching them directly, it's better. I'm not saying you need to do that if you have an opportunity, because once again, you can find a lot of information on the prospect thanks to the internet. But if you are reaching out to somebody, they know about you, they've heard about you, they've seen your photography, your work before, or they heard about you, obviously that's even better than anything else. So yes, if you have the opportunity to do it, please do so, obviously, and don't be restrained by the fact that you might not have done it yet. You can still go on and reach out to your prospect, even if you have not organically reached them before. Once again, I'm going back to the essential, which is prospection. When you do the prospection, you have your list of prospect. You can find information on each of them. Great if they have seen you before. The most important thing here is not that they've seen you before or not, is to be consistent. Block the time, 1 or 2 hours a day, and systematically go after a certain number of prospects. You can research them, or you can even have a VA or an intern helping you search information on them and give them the structure of what that type of information you want to have. But then what's important is that you do the reach out. So let's say you reach out to 4 people per day. So that means 20 people per week. That means 80 people per month. And if you are on the European work schedule and only work 10 months a year, that's still 800 prospect a year. So I think that with that, there's definitely ways to develop your business. And in the meantime, put the system in place so that organically they can hear about you, they can see your work for sure. The more, again, going back to your previous question, if you focus on one vertical, then you will focus on what are the conference in that vertical. Where are the people in that vertical meeting? What are they reading? What are they listening to? Where are they going? And that will be easier and will allow you to leverage your work and the people you know in that specific vertical. Voila, Carrington, I hope it helps. Next question from AJ Kutz. How do you overcome fear of disappointing people? I constantly struggle with the balance of standing up for the best interest of my business and family versus telling people things that I'm afraid will disappoint them. What tactics, mindset, strategies do you use to help yourself say what truly needs to be said and accept whatever the outcome is? Thanks. So, amazing question, AJ. How do you overcome fear of disappointing people? I think there's two things here. The first one is the fear, how do you overcome the fear of disappointing people? From the moment that you are being authentic, and I'm hear my words, people want you to be authentic until you start being authentic. Then they're not happy, okay? That's another story. But from the moment that you are authentic, that you can look at yourself in the mirror, that you are respectful of anybody you're interacting with, that you're helping others, that doesn't mean that you have to agree on everything. That doesn't mean that, people have to this political correctness and things like that. From the moment, for me, it's like a waste of time, and it's as remote as it can be from authenticity. But from the moment that you're being authentic and honest and respectful of people, you don't need to fear disappointing them. You cannot please everybody. And so from the moment that you are yourself, that you're not spending energy on playing a role or playing somebody else, and again, you're yourself and you're respecting the others, you will always find people who want to do business with who you are. And you will never be able to please everyone. So that's really the first thing for me about overcoming disappointing people. The other thing is that what you're mentioning, do you use to help yourself say what truly needs to be said and accept what the outcome is? Need to be clear on what you do. A business is a business is a business. If you're working for a large group, you're representing the group. And there's no way you can bring your own personal values into the debate if it's not the way that the group or the company wants to present itself. And if you have a big difference there, then you always have the choice to leave. Lead, follow, get out of the way. There's never four solutions. It's always lead, follow, get out of the way. And lead, follow, get out of the way will allow you to decide what you do in a large group. From the moment that you are an entrepreneur, and this group is obviously all about entrepreneurship. And from the moment that you're respectful of people, that you're not going to please everyone, it's a choice to decide what you want to stand for. I do believe that putting a stick in the ground is always better than trying to be without taste, without color, and trying to please everyone. So the way I look at it, am I aligned with my values? Am I aligned? Am I doing the right thing with my family? Am I being honest and authentic? And that's it. If there are topics, and especially those days, when we look at the woke culture, when we look at the political correctness, when we look at politics or religion, and that's a lot of topics at the end of the day, but those topics, you can decide basically not to go there and focus on your business. And you can also do that the way you use social media, where you can have your private Facebook with your group of friends, which is close. You can have a Facebook page or something else for your business, including Instagram. And on LinkedIn, it's all about professional. I never, ever post anything personal on LinkedIn. So that's maybe a way of looking at it. If you feel the urge of standing up for something or speaking about something, and trust me, those who know me know that I'm not afraid to do that on certain topics. But I'm not doing that on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn is all about the business. But I'm not afraid. I'm not concerning about disappointing others because I'm being myself. Again, you're being yourself, you're being authentic, you're being respectful of the others. That's it. Cannot please everyone. That's my 2 cents, AJ. Hope it's helpful. And then I'm going to the last question for today, which is coming from Marielle Goodrich. Marielle, hello. Your question is, should I set different pay rates for private versus public events for my team? Background is you do private events with your, so when we do private events, my team members are fully paid for by our clients. I started with only private events and charge 50 per hour per support staff. I'll bartend, keeps 25 an hour, and my team makes 25 an hour. Now that we have started doing public events, it is a huge risk to guarantee 25 hours plus tip. 25 per hour plus tip, sorry. If we do not get any business, I get crushed by payroll. However, the outdoor events are exhausting, hot, and require an incredible amount of physical labor, so it seems wrong to pay less for these. Not sure what to do. My team is already becoming spoiled, and I need to rethink how we pay and what my expectations are from them. I realize that will be addressed when I create an employee handbook. Yes, indeed. So my first question, why did you go to public events? There's a reason for that. I can only imagine what it could be in terms of maybe opportunities, or if you heard about something, about size of the business, whatever it is. The analysis that you need to do is on the private events, what is happening in the process, who's paying, and the easiness, if you want, of doing business versus the public events. And also be very transparent. The more transparent you are with your team, the better it will be. It's not only the handbook that you're going to create with them, but I think which is really important, why don't you sit down with them? And you don't have to have everybody at the same time. You can start maybe with the people that you're the closest, that you trust the most, and test the water with them and say, this is my dilemma. This is my risk. I'm more than happy to take the risk, but if we do that and we expect more revenue, I cannot be the only one to take risk because that's an increase in revenue for you as well, or not. So the more you being transparent and explain as well your cost structure and the risk you're taking, then you get the feedback from 1, 2, 3 of your closest employee, see how they react, and I would just ask them, so this is where I'm going. This is what I'm planning to do. What do you think of that? How do you feel about that? And how do you think the rest of the team will react? How would you present that if you were me? Obviously, you take your responsibilities afterwards, but you're not on your own. You have people that obviously you need, and God knows how difficult it is today to recruit more people. So if you explain the difference between private and public event in terms of your risk, but also the benefit to them and the fact that you're involving them in the decision-making process and you want commitment as well, and you paint the picture of how you're developing the business and what you're looking at, then I think you're onto something that would be different from what most of companies are doing when it comes to speaking with their team, explaining what they're trying to achieve, and basically being transparent on what are the benefit and risk for everyone. You're the business owner, you're the one taking the risk, you're the one taking the highest part of the revenue if you want. That doesn't mean that you cannot be transparent on your cost structure and the risk you're taking. That cannot be that you cannot find a system so that they would also benefit somehow. But it's also a risk-reward balance all the time. Voila, Marielle, I hope it's helpful. Thanks, everyone. I wish you a great day, great business. And as usual, if you have any question, let us know. We're looking forward to hearing about your future progress. Thank you. Bye for now.